Over the summer, amidst all the Disney box office failures and flops and disappointments, it seemed to everybody like Rachel Zegler, before the woke Snow White remake was even completed, not let alone released in theaters, let alone a teaser trailer, no, before it even finished filming, it seemed like Rachel Zegler had already torpedoed its chances at the box office because of her comments, because of what she said about the character, how it's not 1937 anymore, we need to make changes for the modern day. She talked about how she didn't even like the character when she was growing up. It was a total PR nightmare for Disney, and you knew that they were going to have to do something. They were going to try to rehabilitate her in some way. They were going to have to do damage control. Well, it looks like it's already started the Rachel Zegler apology tour, the Rachel Zegler PR tour. I don't know exactly what you want to call it. Certainly not an apology, but you understand why they want Rachel Zegler to go out there and actually talk about some things after all the damage that she did. And that's what happened. In the newest Variety Actors on Actors, they decided to pair up Rachel Zegler and Halle Bailey, of course, Little Mermaid and Snow White. And you knew something that they were going to talk about was all the toxic backlash, the toxic fans that are out there that might have criticisms when you, I don't know, say bash the movie that you're recreating, say bash the movie that's beloved by so many people. They might have a problem with what you said. And strangely enough, despite the fact that Rachel Zegler continued to respond to those people, whether directly or whether through what she was wearing, whether it was through what she was retweeting at the time, even though Rachel Zegler continued to engage with these fans during the backlash to make herself appear like a victim, she had a little different tune in this Actors on Actors segment. And this is why I'm saying that they're trying to change the narrative surrounding dealing with the hate from fans. Rachel Zegler on Facing Online Hate. We're going to watch this entire thing. It's about 2 minutes long. We'll see if it matches up to how she acted during this entire thing.
The way you are just so graceful and respond and it's just the most beautiful thing to see. Because it's hard being women under the spotlight. People are so critical and just say anything that they would never say to your face.
No.
So yeah, how has that been for you, being able to navigate it?
You know,
it's so difficult. Now, I am going to say there's certainly a certain portion of people that are online, anonymous accounts or whatever, that will say things that they'll never say to people in real life. That is legitimate. That is true. Although that's not always the case either. That's not, I don't think that's the majority of it. I don't think that's the majority of criticism that either of these people got for their movies, to be honest with you. But it does exist out there. I get it here on my channel too, right? There's people that say something that they would never actually say to me in real life. But that's part of online, that's part of the internet.
Choosing thankfulness and gratefulness is choosing peace. And as much as you'd like to remind people verbally that being in the spotlight doesn't absolve you of your humanity, that you're allowed to have human moments, it doesn't necessarily do what you want it to do, and it fuels them more.
Yes, exactly.
And so, just as you said, it's like choosing to be present and know that they're probably just having a really hard day.
Yes.
And I am putting out a movie.
Amen. That's right.
And I feel so thankful for those.
That's right. Thank you, Halle Bailey.
Those moments, because it started to make me feel like solid Teflon.
Yes.
That it can't really, that nothing can hurt anymore.
Amen.
Because they've said the worst that can be said, and you just kind of say, thank you so much for this. I have a lot of love in my life.
Yes.
And I'm very thankful.
Amen.
And
Is that what you were saying when you, I don't know, you basically started retweeting videos that were shitting all over men? Is that what you meant to do with that? I just have so much love in my heart. I'm going to retweet, but amidst all this stuff, you know, whether I'm going to stop replying to people, I'm going to protect my account, and now I'm going to retweet videos shitting on dudes, because that's what you did, Rachel Zegler, during this time. That must have been the lesson you learned, right? You must have done this stuff before you learned this lesson about how to respond or not to respond. That you're just Teflon. Everything just slides off you. I'm not going to retweet these things shitting all over how men are the problem.
And, you know, we get to do our work and have that speak for itself instead, which is exactly what you've done. And
you too. I love the saying, my godmom says it a lot. You throw stones, and I'll build a bridge out of them. Isn't that nice?
That is nice.
I love
that. It's true though.
Yeah.
Because we're making things that make people connect with one another. And there are people out there who say things that make people want to not come together.
Yes.
That make people want to fight. And it's just not worth the time and energy.
Now, I wonder if Rachel Zegler got any, I don't know, media training or coaching before this, because feels like her tone of voice, feels like everything is very different from what we saw across all those different red carpets, right? Sounds like it's very different from what we saw. It's not 1937 anymore. Sorry, might get cut out. That's Hollywood, baby. We need to make changes because it's not okay for the modern era. We need a different Snow White. The way she's engaging in this thing seems entirely different than what we saw before from Rachel Zegler. They 100% made it perfectly clear to her she needs to change the narrative. And I'll even go by comparing it to something like this. There's another clip from later on where she talks about what a big fan and how much she loves Snow White. And I just thought that was strange.
The amazing things that happened for that film are the reason that you and I really get to sit here today, because it made Disney what it is.
Talking about
so
Snow
of course
White.
There's like this pressure of being the first one, having to bring to life the first one, and obviously that's come with a lot of pressure that I've put on myself, and also, I mean, much like Hunger Games, there's just a very dedicated group of people who love Disney cartoons. I'm one of them. You know, I love everything that the Disney company has put out in the past 1,000,000 years, 100 years this year, and so.
I love everything. I'm such a huge fan of these animated movies. I love everything that they've put out in the last 100 years. That sounds a little bit different from last year, doesn't it?
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it. Never revisited Snow White again. So I watched it for the first time in probably 16, 17 years when I was doing this film.
When I was doing this film. Yeah, you know, it seems like she's such a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of everything Disney's done. So you can see what they're trying to do. This is trying to change the narrative around Rachel Zegler. Will it work? I guess that's the question. They have a long time before this movie comes out. Clearly, they went into this interview with a plan to make her look differently than she's came off in the past, whether it's in these red carpet interviews, whether it's the Gal Gadot one. She sounds like a completely different person. Okay, the way she's interacting, the tone of her voice, what she's saying, everything sounds different, doesn't it? We'll see. I think the number of people that'll be willing to give this thing a chance after everything she said is probably pretty small, but maybe Rachel Zegler on her apology tour can hide her true feelings and put out there the message that Disney now wants her to put out. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.